welcome to a very much impromptu video. I am dried up creatively. I don't know why. I've been busy at work, and so when I come home from work, I just want to sleep. And that's what I've been doing. I've been going to bed with my kid at 7 p.m. and so I haven't been writing scripts lately. The other reason is my country, my home country, has been going through a lot lately, and for all intents and purposes, it cannot be considered a democracy anymore. We went the South American route to a dictatorship, like Venezuela, like Nicaragua, like many other countries in Latin America. Our Supreme Court has been doing some crazy shit in my country, like banning X, former Twitter, like taking assets from Starlink in Brazil, which is a completely different company. You know, it's setting precedents. It's setting crazy precedents. I'm not a law person, so I cannot explain. So that's one thing. They have been also involved in pretty much invalidating things that the Congress votes on, right? So the legislative, which are the congressmen and women that have been voted by the population to make laws, they make such laws, and then the Supreme Court, like in this case, they went, oh, you know what? I don't like this law how it is right now. I don't know, man. It's so many crazy stuff that I don't even have the energy to go and research and write a script for a video, for a proper video. Maybe I'll do that later. Maybe if you want to hear about it, I'll do that for sure. Later, not today. I just want to say, I'm just saying that to let you know that this is on my mind right now. And it's a lot. It's a lot. You know, my husband and I, we legally immigrated to Canada. It's been 5 years now. We saw this coming. Yeah, we saw all of this coming. We had no faith or hope in our home country, unfortunately. And we decided to immigrate. It wasn't an easy decision. I still struggle with it. All of our family is in Brazil. Most of our friends are there, and they are all, going through all of these problems. And even though we escaped, we can never be fully relieved, because all the people that we care about are still there. So that's another reason why I've been not productive on YouTube. And then there are other personal reasons, and they don't matter really here. This is what's going on. Why did I say we legally immigrated? Because there is a surge in talks about illegal immigration, especially in the US. There are federal elections coming up. It seems like there's a lot of issues going on with illegal immigrants arriving, tens of thousands of people arriving from other countries, not even speaking English, of course, not even sharing the culture. I can only imagine in a town like Springfield, Ohio, with a population that is less than 60,000, you throw in 20,000 Haitians in there, it's gonna be a challenge for the people who were there and for the people who were thrown in there. Of course, there will be cultural shock. I certainly understand those who are angry at their government for randomly, without planning, without a long-term plan, just dumping a bunch of people in your town, in your backyard. I can understand how upset they can get. I do not know much about Haiti culture and the problems that they face. I know they had a big earthquake a few years back, ever since even the Brazilian government have been helping, and there are many Haitians refugees in Brazil, but I had a very different perspective about them when I was living in Brazil. Every time that we receive any refugee from anywhere, usually it's always Cuba, Venezuela, Haiti, those places. I always feel bad about the refugees situation, not only because what made them leave their countries was extremely bad, but also because they had no better option than going to Brazil. You had absolutely nowhere to go. The only place you could seek shelter was in Brazil. Oh my God, you may end up in an even worse situation knowing my country. I'm allowed to say that because I'm Brazilian, okay? That's why I say my husband and I, we legally immigrated. It is possible. It is much more difficult. It is much more expensive, but it's possible. And some people choose to do it because they find themselves in countries that are in such bad situation economically, politically, and I'm not just talking about dictatorships. There are a few democracies that unfortunately will remain poor, likely forever, just because government has no fiscal responsibility, violence, insane laws that make it so hard for businesses to thrive, crazy import tariffs that make it nearly impossible for industries to thrive, labor laws that are based off Mussolini labor laws. I'm not even kidding. Our labor laws in Brazil are from the 1930s. Seriously. They are incredibly hard for empregadores. Qual que é essa palavra em português? Em inglês, empregador. They make it extremely hard for employers to hire more people. So there are crazy rates of unemployment always. And it's always been like that ever since before I was born. You got inflation. It's almost like being a criminal in Brazil is rewarded. Our president today is a criminal. The guy is a protagonist in the world's largest corruption scandals. His president, being a criminal in places like Brazil, is rewarded. And being a regular citizen, you were treated like a criminal. Twitter was banned in Brazil because Alexandre de Moraes, a Supreme Court judge, wasn't liking what he was seeing online on Twitter. He hates free speech like other authoritarians. So he banned Twitter. But you know what's not banned in Brazil? The use of cell phone by prisoners. That's right. Inmates in prison cells, they famously use cell phones and have internet access, and they use their cell phones to scam people out of money. Everyone in Brazil has an occasion where they receive a call from a guy in a prison cell claiming that they have abducted a loved one, and they tell you to send them money. Many people will fall for that, usually old people. Actually, my own brother received one of those calls. He dropped off my mom at the bank, and then like a few minutes later, he received a call saying that they abducted my mom and that he needed to wire money for them. Otherwise, my mom would be hurt. Regular citizens now cannot access Twitter, but prisoners can. Not only Twitter, they can do all of the things. And it's very funny because I'm saying all of this now in a very confusing way. But you know, this is why we immigrated. This is part of the reason. It's a million, reasons that make someone leave their country. This is one of them. And I get that question a lot. Why? Why did you come here? What are you doing here? And I always don't tell the full truth because I don't want to be so dramatic in a small talk. So I just say like whatever reason that is maybe also true. Like, oh, I just wanted to live abroad just to see what it's like. It's true. Yeah, I did want that. Oh, what are you doing in a place that's so cold? Well, I've always been curious to see what it would be like to live in a place that's cold because I lived all my life in a place where it's warm year round. It's also true, but it's not the full truth. The full truth is we had no hope. And of course, we didn't predict that this would happen. I don't think anybody could predict such a nefarious thing would happen to our beloved country. But we always thought in the back of our minds that this would be possible, So that's why we immigrated. Didn't solve all of our problems because our family and our loved ones are still there. So that sucks. At least maybe from here we can do something. Anywho, this is a different video that I normally do. I normally talk about parenthood. I normally talk about being a working mom. I have been reacting to regretful parents on Reddit, which has been interesting. But this has been on my mind rant-free, and I just had to come here and do an impromptu talk about these things. And how do we avoid people immigrating legally and illegally? By making countries wealthier. That's how you stop 20,000 people from another culture to be dumped into your hometown. When all things are okay, people will not immigrate. People that live in wealthier countries tend to not want to leave. They may want to live abroad for a while to test it out, or they might do it legally, following all the rules and being respectful towards the other country's laws and culture. But in general, when a country is doing really well, people don't want to leave. And it's possible for countries to do well. There's a lot of controversy about this, like why are some countries rich and other countries poor? I've always wondered, and what I've learned in school was my country was poor because we were colonized. We were Portugal colonies, and colonies taken advantage of. They took away all our riches, and therefore we were destined to be poor forever. This is just how things are. That doesn't make sense because the United States were a colony. Australia was a colony, all very rich countries. So that can't be it. That cannot be it. And excuse me, I'm gonna butcher this. I don't have a script, so I am gonna make mistakes here. But it's been proven that free markets, economic freedom makes countries wealthier. You don't make countries rich by giving foreign aid. You make countries rich by being fiscally responsible and by providing economic freedom for the people, for companies, for things to flourish. That's how you do it. Highly regulated countries have big states, 30 ministries, extremely expensive justice system. Those are not the countries that get rich. They get poorer and poorer because they have to tax people more and more, and they still are always in deficit because they cannot spend money responsibly. That's what makes countries poor. Take Chile, for example. The country, not the food. I have a very minor example. As a Brazilian, if I want to go visit the United States, I need a visa. Even if I go as a tourist, many Canadians don't believe me, but when I go as a tourist to the United States, I need a visa. I need to, apply and give them a bunch of paperwork and show them that I work and show them I will return after my stay, show them that I have good faith, and I have to go to an interview in the consulate, and I have to, convince the consulate people, the American consulate people that I'm going in good faith, that I have the means to stay there, and that I will go back to Brazil. And that's because there are many Brazilians in the United States illegally. It's not just Haitians. Yeah, Brazilians go to the United States and stay illegally. But Chileans don't. Chileans don't even need a visa to go to the United States. They can stay up to 90 days. How come two countries from Latin America, similar in culture, both were colonized as well? How come Brazil needs a visa to visit the United States and Chile doesn't? Why? What explains? Well, Chile is in a way better economic, political position than Brazil. They did the homework ever since the 70s, 80s. They are extremely fiscally responsible. They fixed their social security issue. They have been doing the homework. And as a result, their country is really wealthier than any of their neighboring countries, and that allows their citizens to want to stay there and give back there. They are excused from needing a visa in the United States because it's very unlikely that a Chilean will go to the United States and stay illegally. If they want to stay, they can pursue a legal visa to work there or whatever, but they won't want to risk, staying there illegally. They have too much to lose. That's it. Yeah, they have too much to lose, as opposed to people in other countries like Brazil, like Haiti. They have nothing to lose. Everything has been taken from them. They just go in pursuit of the American dream, which is not fair to them, it's not fair to Americans, it's not fair to anyone. So I just want to say that it's hard to be an immigrant. It's really hard. But there is a solution. Make better countries. Make countries wealthier. Advocate for that. You're a person here in this world. Stop advocating for more authoritarian policies, for more censorship, for more socialism. That's not what the world needs. Those are the reasons why the world is in such bad shape right now. That's it for this video. I think. Yeah. I don't even know what I said, but that's it for this video. I will see you on the next video. Bye.
Livia tá chegando. Livre, Lívia, Lívia, Lívia.